Hello and welcome back. Oftentimes with salespeople, you're going to make an appointment by the phone. And that's how you're going to initially contact or talk to the prospect. In that particular case, the approach is also very important. Some of the information you can find out on the phone, such as how much time do we have and where you're going to meet and those types of things. So oftentimes, making the sales appointment by phone, you need to use the following practice. Plan on advance what you're going to say before you get on the phone. Identify yourself, identify the company, state the purpose, show respect for the prospect's time, and try to get the appointment, and then find out once you do have the appointment, how much time you're going to have in the sales call. I often follow up with a brief note or email message or letter or something to remind the prospect of the call and make sure that the prospect has it on their calendar. So again, social contact building report is all about breaking the ice through social rapport. That's where you get the stuff from LinkedIn, you can get the stuff from Facebook. You can take a look at a lot of the other sites. You can look at some of the contacts, maybe the college that the person used to go to, or what's going on with the company, what's going on with the industry. All those types of things you can get through social media, and that is a good way of building rapport and a good way of making sure you do your homework first on social media. Offer genuine compliments. If you're going to compliment somebody, make sure it's genuine. If he's got a nice tie, great. If he doesn't have a nice tie, don't say anything. What you want to do is make sure that when you're complimenting somebody, you're genuine and not just kissing up to that person. So guidelines for good social contact: prepare for the social contact through any particular means you can, mostly social media and other various and sundry website things. And then initiate the social contact being polite with a firm handshake and all of the different things we talked about in Chapter 4. Respond to the customer's conversation. When the customer talks, don't be looking down. Make sure that you take an active interest in what the customer says or the prospect says, and make sure you're listening. If you ask the prospect a question about what they did over the weekend, or their sports team that they like, or what's going on in their industry, and the prospect answers you, make sure that you're nodding, you've got good eye contact, and you're listening. Remember, we're building rapport, not just asking questions to ask questions. And keep it focused on the customer. Don't talk about what you did over the weekend or the prospect. The prospect doesn't care what you did. The prospect doesn't care what your team is. The other thing is, and I shouldn't have to tell you this, but keep your conversation and your topics neutral. Don't get into politics. Don't get into religion. Don't get into who you like, who you don't like. If they like a sports team, for instance, I'm a huge Browns fan, and I really do not like the Pittsburgh Steelers. However, when I'm in a prospect's office, they're in Pittsburgh, or they like the Steelers and they have some Steelers garb, I'm not going to sit there and trash talk the team. That doesn't do anybody any good. I could say something like, well, I'm a Browns fan and Pittsburgh certainly is our rival. That would be fine. The other thing is stay away from politics. If someone says, how about that candidate? Isn't he a blah, 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 blah? Don't agree. You can say, you want to deflect those types of questions. You can say something like, well, he's certainly in the news a lot. I know that over the last number of years, Trump has been a very polarizing political figure. Some people love him. Some people hate him. The prospect might love him or the prospect might hate him. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have to agree with loving or hating the prospect. And here's why. Suppose the prospect loves Trump or hates Trump. It doesn't make any difference. And the prospect boss either loves or hates them, but it's opposite of the prospect. You don't want to stick your foot in the mouth in the prospect's office and then have to change your tactic when the other one. If someone says, what do you think about Trump? You certainly say, well, he's certainly a very colorful figure. He's certainly in the news a lot. That's all you have to say. You want to stay away from those types of damaging conversations and make sure that you're not sticking your foot in your mouth. Remember, you're building rapport. You're not trying to give somebody a lecture or spew your political or religious views upon them. So approaches. Once you get and to build the ice, now you're going to want to transition to the needs identification. Again, you're going to break the ice. You're going to ask how much time, and then you're going to find out the buyers. And then I always transition by saying something like, well, I could talk about sports all day. I could talk about the weather all day, or I could talk about hobbies all day, but time is of the essence and we only have so much time. Do you mind if we start talking about why I'm here? That way you're asking permission to get into the actual needs selling approach. Sometimes you can use an agenda approach and say, I have an agenda here. Here's what I'd like to do as you move into that. Sometimes you can talk about, I brought the product along today. Would you like to see a demonstration? You can talk about a referral approach. So-and-so is using our product and they sent us here. You can give a general benefit statement. Well, the reason I'm here is I know that time is money and I'm here to help you with saving some time and also saving some money. General benefit approach. The question approach, again, that's what you're going to do. I don't necessarily like the survey approach or the premium approach. The premium approach is talking about how much your product is better than the competition's. I don't necessarily like those. I would stick with the other ones. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to break the ice. Oftentimes it's best to use a referral. If you don't, that's fine. Then we're going to go into the questioning and the needs discovery process. I want to end on many salespeople have a sales call reluctance, and they get in front of the prospect and they get nervous and they immediately jump into the presentation. That's the worst thing you can do. Remember, we follow a 6-step approach here. Our sales approach. We start with the approach, needs discovery, presentation, negotiation, close, servicing the sale. However, with sales call reluctance, a lot of salespeople are shy or they get nervous and they want to jump in and immediately start presenting their product. They've got a fear of being embarrassed, a fear of maybe group presentations if there's more than one person there. They've got a lack of self-confidence. They got a fear of rejection, a lot of different things. Regardless of all that, you need to make sure that you're confident when you're going in, and that's why that pre-approach is so important, because you can be confident when you're going in. And also make sure that you break the ice. I have managed teams of salespeople, and I've ridden along with them during sales call. And when a salesperson immediately starts presenting a product, I've actually stopped them and said, let's start again, because it's good practice. So some of the things with dealing with sales call reluctance, be optimistic about the outcome, be confident about yourself. Practice. Do that worksheet we talked about. Recognize that everybody is nervous. I've been selling now for about 40 years. I still get nervous when I got a big presentation or a big sales call. Make sure you have a commitment to your goals and make sure that you have a commitment to the prospect's goals. So let's review. These are some of the things we talked about in this particular chapter. These are the things that I want you to focus on, and I want you to continue to focus on. And these are the things that I'm going to expect when we do our sales one-to-one. With that, we are going to end chapter 10. Please make sure that you look over the material, and please make sure you take notes, because I'm going to be looking for these things as we move into our role play. Take care, and I will see you next time.